that we are pushing in our industry and with the teams and the agents and just the way business is done in the sports industry. Lee Johnson is looking to change a lot of those things. Uh-oh, can't hear you. Hold on, let me see if it's me. Can you hear me? Hmm. All right, hold on, we gotta check this issue. I don't know if it's me. Can you hear me? All right, so then maybe it's me. Let me see if maybe it's take messages. I cannot hear you. All right, hold on. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me now?
All right. Yes, I got you now.
Okay,
I got you now.
wow. You know,
My apologies.
I love it. I love it. I'm trying to get things going right here. For some reason, it's not let me. We're on YouTube, live on YouTube. For some reason, Facebook is not let me do anything.
Oh, you can't go live on Facebook.
Yeah, I'm working on it right now. It was all set, ready to go, but we are live on YouTube right now. And
Well, the show must go on.
yeah, it will. I'm recording it anyway, so we're good. But it's amazing how things. Let me make sure on where are we? Make sure that it is live on YouTube. Make sure it's there. It's you gotta love technology because when it works, it works. But when it
And when
don't,
it
but
doesn't,
when it don't, it gives you
the whole
fits.
world comes crashing down.
Yeah, and we rely so much on it that let me make sure that I am live here. It's taking its sweet time. Yes, we are live on YouTube. Okay, I'll work on Facebook as we're going. I don't know what's going on, but anyway, like to say, the show must go on. Um, what is one thing you wish more people knew about your brand or your business? Now I can't hear you. You're muted.
Audio.
There you go. I can hear you now.
You got me now? Okay, I was
Yeah.
going to say, and a little alert came up. Okay, we're good
Okay.
to go. We're back
All
in the game.
right. Hey, this is what it's all about anyway. You got to be resilient and keep on pushing forward. Because
You better know it.
I know there's been some times in your career what you're doing right now. Oh man, but you got to keep on going. You know what? Sometimes when you do that, it's some of the best deals being made. Because you're going on faith and you're working on it, and all of a sudden it comes. You say, "I got it! Wow, how did that happen?" But so like I said, we're struggling, but the show will go on. Did you hear that question I asked you?
I did not.
Okay, what is one thing you wish that people knew about you and your brand?
In my brain,
Your brand and your business.
my brand. Um, we're here to be different. When I started Lee Johnson, there was a lot of people that told me it would never work. A faith-based PR agency in the sports industry would never work. And now, we have over 70 players looking to work with us right now on our portal. And we're growing. We have a hockey division, we have a football division, getting ready to add a basketball division. Um, I think what I want everyone to know about Lee Johnson is that we're not here to fit in. We are here to set industry standards. We're here to ask for accountability in this business. We are here to change the game. And so we are not for everybody. We're not going to be for everybody, but we are looking to partner with those brands and those corporations that are looking to really be a change in the industry and in the world.
Wow. Speaking about that, San Antonio just got a football team. I think it's an ISA. It's
IFA.
yeah,
It's an
IFA.
IFA.
And
Yep.
they got a hold of me out the wild blue. And I was the first one to break it in San Antonio. We got a football team coming here, and I've been doing interviews with them. And I call him Q. He's been going back and forth. Hey, Ron, you want to interview this person, that person? I say, sure, bring them on, bring them on. The more, the merrier. But I get what you mean because it isn't like you're trying to get in there and push the big boys out. You bringing your brand in and being faith based is if you listen to some of mainly the minority players, the first thing they say, I give thanks to God. That's the very first thing they say. And and that I said, wow. And you're starting to hear that more and more out of the athletes, more and more. They're starting to understand. And for you to come in being faith based, are you the first one doing this?
Yes. We are the
Mm.
first. We are the first, and we are the first faith-based public relations agency, and we're global. Our connections and our network span across the world. We have players that we represent all over the world, but we're also the only second all-female owned sports PR agency. There's only another one. She's been doing it for 30 years though, so she's a goat. She's been in the game for a long time, but we're the second all-owned female operated public relations agency in sports.
So, what brings to this question, since you said that, have there been any struggles getting media coverage? And what was your experience like?
So, PR is a funny business, right? PR is all about the message and the timing. It could be the right message, but at the wrong time. It could be the timing's off, and it's also dependent on what else is going on in the news and the other things. So, when you're looking to get media coverage, depending on what it's for, it's a very timely situation based on who's interested in the story at that time and what other things are going on in the world and in the news that may be more interesting than what you're trying to sell. So PR is very strategic. It's very consistent. You have to have that consistency to get the story out there. But it's also very timely. Today's story is not tomorrow's story. So you got to make sure that whatever you're pitching for the right time and it's going to grab the attention of your market.
You said something right there. It's the timing that comes in. Is this the right time to do it? Um, is it fair to say if somebody covered you, you got that 15 minutes of fame, you need to act on that right then and there and don't wait to down the line. Is that what you suggesting that most people ought to do?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I preach it all the time. There are 1697 NFL players. Okay, so right around 1,700 players in the NFL. Out of that, how many of them can we actually name? I would say probably 50 if you're really good in the game. So that means there's 1,600 players that have an NFL tag and title to them, something that is 1 in 8 million chances to do, and they're not capitalizing on that tag. The your NFL, everyone knows, is not for long. And so the
Mm-hmm.
opportunity that you have, whether it be 1 year, 2 year, 3 years, is to build that brand so you can have longevity in whatever it is you want to do. If you want to do real estate, if you want to do investing, but using your NFL title, using that tag to catapult yourself to the next level in your career is really the goal. And out of it, a majority of players do not maximize that opportunity.
Wow. So when you go ahead and a player signs with you, do you educate them and say, okay, like you said, not for long? Do you have them invest or come up with something they're going to do after it's over with, what business they want to get into? Because I hear these nightmare stories how you got $10 million one day and 6 months later you're down to zero.
So we do. We do a lot of those things. We have a network where, depending on what they want to do, we connect them with brands. We do brand partnerships. We do marketing. But the most important thing, and the most important thing that Lee Johnson does, is we have a network of people with integrity, um, leadership, and confidence. Those are our three core values. And so you can have the money and the contract, but if you don't have the right agent that's in your corner advising you the right way, if you don't have the right business manager advising you, if you don't have the right team and people around you, you're not going to know what to do. A lot of these players go from nothing to everything overnight and no one has advised them. So some
Yeah.
things that we do is we partner our players with legitimate agents who are actually working in their favor. You have agents. A lot of people don't understand, especially now with the draft being on. A lot of agents hoard. So a lot of agents. There's a majority of the NFL. 25% of agents in the NFL are connected to 75% players. So there's 64% of licensed NFL agents don't even have a player under contract.
Mm.
And so what our team does is we connect our players with agents with integrity that are going to do the work. There's agents that have a player but are not working for them. That player believes that that agent is fostering deals and opportunities for them, but that agent is really working for the other players that they represent. So when you come to Lee Johnson, you're going to get personalized attention. We're going to find the right agent for you. We're going to find the right partnership for you, because every marriage is not good. Just because you're a real estate agent don't mean you're the right real estate agent to sell me my house. And
Right.
so what we do is we have a network of agents, coaches, scouts, teams that we partner with that are integral and are actually doing the best that they can on behalf of the players, educating them, getting them in touch with the right people. It's unfortunate, but there's a lot of taking advantage of that
Mm-hmm.
happens at this level. You have players that are uneducated or ignorant to the process, ignorant to how their contract is set up, what those extensions look like, and who gets those finances. And so we really foster our business on creating relationships of integrity where everyone's going to win.
So I've been dying to ask this question because I hear it all the time in contracts. When they get a guaranteed contract, let's say they sign somebody for $10 million and you get a $2 million bonus up front. Now, when they sign all that, do they actually really get that 2 mil up front?
It depends on how the contract is written.
Mm.
You can get it up front, you can get it throughout your contract, it could be spread out. It's going to depend on how the contract is written. The NFL and just all contracts can be written, as you know, with flexibility and different things, but sometimes they do get it up front. But then even with that upfront money, it's split between all the people that help you get the upfront money.
Yeah. Yeah, I read an article about 5 years ago how some of these professional athletes were didn't know the tax structure and all that, and I was reading it. And if you go play in California, you got to pay that city and state tax over there. You go to New York, you do it right there. That so if you look at, let's say I'm gonna throw $1 million out there. So let's say you do that, but out there $1 million, you may get 500,000. Is
and
that
and
is that
really
right?
it's gonna, yeah, no, this is 1000% accurate. And a lot of players don't understand that. I was reading something not too long ago. It was just saying how 32 million in California actually equals like an 11 million contract after you take all the taxes out and after you take out everybody that's getting paid. It's not as big, as it looks on paper. Once everybody gets their sum, you're left with a little.
See, that's funny in a way. Man, you just signed $120 contract. You balling. Well, actually, I'm not. So people don't understand. Most athletes get into the business doesn't understand that tax structure or what goes on because Uncle Sam and the state they get it first.
You
No
better know
matter
it.
what. So do you go through educating the players? This is what you're really going to get. You sign
Yeah,
this.
we work very closely with the agents that represent specifically for NFL contracts, but we foster our own contracts for our players globally. So those contracts are written including airfare, housing, different things. So every contract's written a little different, but we absolutely educate our players on what the basics that should be included in the contract. These are the basics that you should look for. Obviously, the team's going to have flexibility based on your position and the need and all of those things, but these are the staples that absolutely must be included in your contracts.
So it's safe to say, Mom, Dad, you may have helped me through all this. I know you helped me out, make sure my money is structured right. But this is something different I'm getting into. I really gonna need some professional help. Love you, but I gotta have this. And that's one thing they have to stress. Mom and dad been with you all this time. But as you said, trust the experts. It's going to lead you in the right direction and do by you and stuff. And that's hard to find because there's so many stories out there of athletes being taken to the bank. They sign something, all of a sudden their agent, somebody got more authority over their money than they do.
I can go for days. We had a player last year that came to us who had signed a contract with a so-called agent. This was not even a real agent. Had this most egregious contract I've ever seen. This agent had power of attorney over the player. This agent got 50% of everything the player did on and off the field, not connected to the sport. If this player was to open a business, that agent was going to get 50% of that business.
Ooh.
It was just a ludicrous contract, and it wasn't even a real certified agent. And so, as a player, if I say two things: you either play football or you're a football player, right? Or for any sport, right? You either play it or that is who you are, that's in your soul.
Mm-hmm.
And when you love the sport that much, you're going to do whatever it takes to continue playing, to continue that opportunity. And so, if someone says, hey, if you sign right here and give me $5,000, I can get you a job, you're going to sign right there. And if you have the finances and the resources, you're going to do that. And unfortunately, there's a lot of agencies out here selling that dream to players and signing them to very unethical contracts. I mean, no one should own 50% of anything you do, period. I don't
Yes.
care who you are. Like, I don't care who you are. And excuse me. And so just the education around, what's in a contract, if it's, being able to even for any players coming out of, college, looking and making sure this is a certified agent that you're getting ready to sign with. There's a lot of people saying they're agents, but they're not. They
Yeah.
can't negotiate a contract for you. So there's a lot of nuances that we help families and players navigate, because there's a lot of scamming, to be frank. There's a lot of scamming going on, and it's a business where scamming is easy because players, are everywhere.
Yeah, I got you on that one right there. So let's switch gears. Women's sports. That is
Mm.
really taking off nowadays. I have a granddaughter that's playing basketball for Texas A&M, and she has some height on her. She be real. She's good. Put it that way. And I got a grandson that's playing in Colorado basketball. So I see it going on. So when we get together, we talk about men and women's sports. It's not equal. I'm just point blank. Everybody knows it's not equal. So quit trying to make something equal, and it's not. Women's sport is not at the infant stage, but it's at the
Mm.
growing stage that could be potentially large like anything else. So how do women handle this, um, um, being trying to compete with the same salary that the NBA is getting to the WNBA? Because people say we all should be on the same pay scale and all that. I understand where they're coming from, but they have to look at money being generated for your sport. That's where it comes from, the advertisers and all that stuff. That's where it's generated from. Of course, no, they're not even nowhere close to what the NBA is getting. So, how do you structure a contract with the WNBA players to make sure they get the full benefit and full potential of what they're worth?
This is an ongoing conversation, and women and men have never been equal in sports, but we're knocking the doors down. We're kicking them down because it's the only way we're going to get in. Specifically regarding the NBA, I think it's going to be some league adaptations that need to happen. I went to the WNBA All Star game this year, and it was crazy. It was, to me, more exciting than the NBA All-Star game, as it is today. And so the opportunity is there, but I think the leagues really have to have a conversation on where the equality scale looks like, because what we do know is that men's sports contracts are just getting higher and higher, regardless of the sport, right? And so now you have the explosion of the WNBA with all of the new stars that they've gotten in these past couple seasons, but their pay scale is still marginally lower than the NBA. And in the NBA, if you get drafted number like last on the list 30, you're still getting, a couple $1 million in your hand. If you're the number one draft pick in the WNBA, you're at, a little bit over a quarter million, you're at 300, 350,000. So even
Mm.
looking at that dynamic from the number one pick to the last pick, there's $1 million gaps. already in
Wow.
there. And so they have to, from a league perspective, the WNBA has to pretty much figure it out. This year, Unrivaled popped off, and they paid players more in that span. I think it was an 8 weeks span, or the 8 week span, than the WNBA paid all season. So now you got competitors coming in the market where there was only the WNBA or global opportunity for these female athletes to play. Now you have Unrivaled. So now you have competition coming in the market paying at a higher pay scale. Granted,
Yeah.
it's 3 on 3, but the vision is there and it's already been executed to now people see, women can make a good amount of money, maybe in a different way, but the opportunities are there. And so I think it's going to either take more opportunities, or another league to come in to kind of elevate that, or the WNBA is gonna have to do some things. One thing that we've been talking about internally with Lee Johnson, our vice president, Coach Michael Greer, he does combines, and he was with the NFL and D1 coaching. He's done a lot. We've been talking about fostering a network for the WNBA. There's no combine for the WNBA. There's no one place right now where the teams can see talent. There's no pipeline. There's no filter for the talent. And so we have been discussing what that would look like to put together a combine for the WNBA, pulling that talent not only from all of the major schools, but also incorporating the HBCUs. That's something that we're
Yes.
very, very passionate about, is fostering HBCU talent at that next level, because there's a miss there.
There is. I did history, Black history on Vivian. I can't think of her last name for anything, but she was a pioneer. She got paid $0 for coaching college team. They made it all the way to the Final Four, and they neglected to put their team on the shirts of the Final Four. That's something I looked up and researched on that one right there. Oh, it was Vivian Stringer. That's who it was. And so I looked at that. So back to the WNBA. Now, people know, I don't know if they remember this, but the NBA was ready to go years ago. They had to reinvent the NBA over to get people in. Now, the playbook they used took a while to build up the momentum, but now it's there. Now the NBA is a cash crop now. But wouldn't the WNBA maybe entertain looking at how the NBA reinvented themselves? You think?
No, because it's a different market. I think it's a different market. I'm not really sure, to be honest with you, what that would look like. But they definitely have to take a pause, because they're at a pivotal moment with Unrivaled just coming out and paying, a higher salary. That's a challenge. That's an open challenge to, you got to pay women more. And so I do know that this year the WNBA was super successful in some cities, where they had top talent. And so I don't know. I don't know what they need to do, but I think they're at a place where they're gonna have to figure it out, because women are gonna take their talents elsewhere. You're gonna follow the money.
Yeah.
And
See.
so if the money's gonna be somewhere else and I can make more money in less time, then
Yes.
then you better believe that's what I'm gonna do. And it's if it's doing the same thing, so my body's getting less stress, right? I'm being able to rest more, I'm making more money in less time. It's gonna be they're gonna have to figure some things out this season, for sure.
Yeah. Cause we lost our WNBA team here in San Antonio years
Mm.
ago. Silver Stars. We lost them. And you're right. It's where the market is at. And can a smaller market compete with a big market? They got the same problems that some of the NBA had, a smaller market. San Antonio is considered a small market with NBA, but we got talent here. And after we lost that team, we were trying to figure out, okay, what are we going to do? So I know around the area, they latched on to high school and college. These gyms are packed when the women are out there playing because everybody want to go see. And the biggest thrill was to me to see a woman dunk. That made my day. I said, yes, that made my day. Do it again. So you do have the charge coming on, but the momentum is there. So what did Media do to keep this momentum going? Like you said, this is a year they have to show out, right?
They do. They're gonna have to, and it's gonna be challenging because I know last year, Caitlin and Angel did a lot of the hype, and that is what that momentum from college transferred over into the WNBA. Are they gonna keep that same momentum, or who's coming out this year that can elevate that to the next level?
Yeah,
I don't know if there's a couple names out there that can do that, but whatever they have to do, if they don't capitalize on it now, they're gonna miss their moment.
you're right. Yeah, you're right about that. Switch things. How important is public relation in your industry, and how do you currently handle it?
I believe, and of course I'm biased because I'm a publicist, but I believe that every athlete that wants to be a professional should have a publicist. We elevate your market value, we elevate your brand image, we handle your reputation management. Everything you need to be successful um, is what we do. And so if you're looking, even now, we are entering the high school space, with NIL in play and these offer letters coming earlier than ever now. We have eighth graders getting offer letters.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy right now. And so now we're entering that space too, to where we're representing high school athletes. We have some quarterbacks, four-star quarterbacks that are getting ready to come out. And so transferring just what a publicist does now, I believe every athlete needs it because we're elevating your awareness, your market value, everything to the communities, to the industry. We're putting you out there to where they can't forget you. They're going to remember you. And so of course, I'm biased again. I believe every athlete, looking to be a pro, whether you're looking at being, a high school player, there's top high school, or excuse me, top college players that don't make it pro, but they have a very, Tim Tebow had a very solid college career and able to capitalize off of his college career into
Mm-hmm.
now what he does professionally. And so just having that team on your side at a young age is opportunities, whether you go pro or you do really well in college or in between. I think it's really important for every athlete to have a publicist.
Question on this right here. Now the college athletes are starting to get paid. Is that a hint?
High school athletes
Yeah.
are getting paid.
Is that a hinder for them boosting their ego up, and can they perform on the level that they're getting paid for? Because I look at it both ways. Are you gonna be humble? Or are you gonna be the jock and get out there and talk noise? You know what I mean?
I will be honest, I hate it. I hate everything about it. I'm from the age you go to college to train and practice your profession, and then you get paid for it. And so
Mm-hmm.
now I think they're cheating the game a little bit. Do I feel like they should be paid? Absolutely. Do I feel like you should be making millions? Absolutely not. And so for us, you know, this is the business that we're in right now. It's not going away. And
Mm-hmm.
if it goes away, it's not going away anytime soon. So now the game is, who can get to the athlete first and brand them,
Yes.
and so when you're dealing in that game, you have to be very careful because now there's a lot of lawsuits of athletes that signed NIL deals and were promised a lot of things and they were not delivered. Same thing with schools. Some programs this year, UNLV had two players leave their program because they were promised certain stipends that were not fulfilled.
Yeah.
And so I think it's a very dicey game that we're playing, paying athletes at a young age because you don't know where they're going to go. But I think if we're able to educate them and get the right financial resources and education in place for them to know what to do, then I think it's what it is. We're in the wild, wild west of sports right
Yep.
now. We're in uncharted territory that no one ever thought that, we would be in. And so now I think a big piece of the success and whether it lingers or stays is going to be education.
Yeah. Michael Jordan said something years ago about today's athletes. He said we went out there and we bust our butts and we got paid on what we are doing out there. The athletes sign and get paid and haven't done anything yet. And he said he doesn't like today's athletes. They're good, but he doesn't like how they're treated so early in life. And then they could turn around and say, I don't feel like playing a game, and they sit down. You get all these fans that pay this money to come see this superstar play. He decide I'm not playing today, and you bought
That
those
part.
$150 tickets to get there and see him. They're not even playing. So
Ooh-wee.
so Jordan sat up there and said the problem is he pointed. They said they're soft. He said they're getting paid before they even dribble the ball, before they even throw the first pitch, before they even run the first touchdown. They're getting paid already. He said we had to fight and struggle to even get a contract negotiated over. Nowadays they're getting paid point blank, and they just sitting back. And he said to me, when you do something like that, I think his words were, they don't care what goes on because they got paid anyway. They're not giving their all, and that was his
You're not
opinion.
invested. If someone gave you $5 and told you can go in the store and buy whatever you want, you're gonna spend that $5 very differently as if you had went out and cut 5 lawns for $1 each and
Mm-hmm.
earned that $5. That spending is gonna be different. And when you have and you didn't earn it, there's no earning in that. There's no appreciation
There you
because it
go.
was given to you. And so when you're talking about an athlete in high school, you have to scale that Texas athlete, to a now a national athlete. Yes, you're good in Texas. You're good in San Antonio. You're good right there in your market. But when you take that and put it to 26,000 other athletes, how
Mm-hmm.
good are you really? And not only how good are you, where's your longevity? And I think when you're paying them at an early age, your reward, it's just no different than the participation awards. Everybody gets an award for
Yeah.
participating. You're getting paid for work you haven't done. We don't know what you're going to be. We don't know if you're going to get a career ending injury, tomorrow. And so to be cutting these checks for players that haven't proven themselves and to be, doing it at $1 million level, it's questionable. But
Yeah.
again, you can't change. This is where the business of sports is.
Yeah.
This is where the business of sports is. When the whole NIL opened up, I said I have concerns because you're opening Pandora's box.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to take Texas A&M football players and pay them, but then what about keeping it at the same school? The Texas A&M gymnast, right?
Yes.
The football players are getting millions of dollars, obviously, because they're bringing in a lot of money, but those gymnasts are never going to have the opportunity to do that because of how the scale is set. If the scale was set different and now we're paying athletes, everybody's getting paid across the board the same amount, now we're in a different conversation. But then when you're talking about one player on the team is getting a $5 million NIL deal and the other player is getting nothing, now there's all types of diversity issues
Mm-hmm.
for me and the equality when it comes to NIL because it's just Pandora's box. There's too many factors, there's too many levels, and if you're going to pay them, I feel like everybody should get paid across the board equally. If you're a football player, football players, this is what you get. If you're, a track, this is what you get.
Mm-hmm.
I just, there has to be some level of equality in order for it to make sense. Otherwise, you're prematuring paying talent for something they haven't delivered on.
Yeah. I agree with you because I thought my opinion was if you're gonna do that, put a cap. Put a cap on it. This is all you get. You can't get no more. I don't care how much you are a superstar. If you're that good, you go to pros and you can get that money. But that would lead to animosity with the other players on the team.
It's
Why?
already there.
Yeah, yeah. Why should I go out there and bust my butt? He's getting paid and I'm not getting nothing. But I'm the reason why he's the way he is, or she the way he is because of me. I'm doing contributing all this defense, whatever going on out there, and I don't get not even a honorable mention.
So here's the argument with that, right? Because you're the player not getting paid, but if I'm the player getting paid, I'm going to be saying I'm the reason that anyone's even looking at you because I'm on the field.
Yeah,
So that's what I'm saying. You
it
just you
goes. Yeah,
just you just got to look at the perspective because, for example, if Shador wasn't on Colorado's field, how many people would be watching Colorado?
that's
And so
true.
all of the players that were on Colorado before Shador that never anyone ever knew about are now getting visibility because he's on the field. So you got to take in all of those factors. It's all subjective, and I don't think it's going to last 3 to 5 more years because the NCAA is not making any money off of any of these NIL deals. And so unless they getting their tax cut, they gonna
Mm-hmm.
find a way to shut it down.
You think that they rushed into it?
I think it was pressure. I think there was a lot of pressure. And then, of course, California, does what California does and pulled the trigger. And so
Yeah,
once California did it, everybody else had to follow suit.
yeah, they did. Wow. Um, Let me see. I'm looking at time. I'm having fun.
Let's go.
Okay. I had that question right here. Oh, here it is. What type of support do you need to take your brand to the next level?
Oh man, my team is everything. We're the GOAT team. I literally have the best team in the business. My vice president, Coach Michael Greer, has been in the game over 30 years in the NFL. He vets and approves all of our talent that we bring in the door. Jessica is my number two. She is my pocket Madeline. Just, I have a very amazing team. And so, continuing to build out the team, continuing to build out the brand, as I said, right now we are primarily focused on football. That's my love and my focus. But added hockey to our game last year, so now we have a hockey department representing hockey players and agents and getting ready in these next couple months to add basketball. So as we grow our brand, just looking to continue to build out a rock star team. We are a global agency, so the agency doesn't close. We're a 24-hour agency. We serve players all throughout the day and night, no matter what country they're in. And so, over these next, as we grow, look and just continue our team, but literally couldn't do anything without the team that we have in place. Shout out to all of them because they hold it down and they make us successful. Everybody has their lane
Yeah.
and they know it and they go, and we don't necessarily cross over, and so that's what makes us super successful. So continuing just to serve the underserved market, I would say, in sports. We serve a lot of D2 players, a lot of D3 players, helping them get that visibility at the next level. We serve D1 athletes that maybe didn't have the playing time. So really just helping to continue to serve those athletes, whether you have the brand and visibility or you want to take it to the next level or you need some help getting the visibility. That's what we're here to do, and our team is literally the best in the game.
Okay. So, how important are scouts to you?
So our relationships with scouts are very important. They are the connector to the team, and so especially now with the draft, having good relationships with scouts, them trusting that the talent that we send them is good talent to look at is a big part of the relationship. They know if we send a player, it's a player that's vetted on both the character standpoint and a talent standpoint. And so our relationships with scouts are very, very important to bridge the gap between the agent and the player and the team.
Okay, because the reason why I asked that question, my grandson graduated from college here in San Antonio, St. Mary's, and I didn't know what he was going to do. He said, "Grandpa, guess what?" I said, "What?" "I'm a scout." "Oh, what?" He said, "I scout. I go out and he's with track." He said he goes all over Texas and sometimes out Louisiana and stuff. And he said, "Grandpa, I'm just like you." I said, "How's that?" "You always had a job where you had a company car and a company credit card and all that. I have that now."
Okay,
And they used to make fun of me, told me, "You never work." Because every time I look up, you got a company car, a company credit card. I said, "I'm just blessed on what I do."
that's right.
And
That's right.
and I started thinking about it, and they were right. I did. I always landed on my feet, but each job I went up the ladder more, and so I'm so proud of him. Him becoming a scout and
But
everything.
it's amazing that he was paying attention to you that whole time and
Yeah.
you didn't even realize it.
They don't. That's my grandson. My son said, "You don't have a real." You know what they called me? What's the guy from Martin that never had a job? Thought he had a job.
Tommy.
Tommy. They always call me, "You Tommy. You don't have a job." He said, "How do you do it, Dad?" "I don't know." But I
When
guess
you
you're
when you
right.
love what you do, it's not work. It's
Yeah,
fun.
it is. And so I retired, and I was always doing this radio station. March will be my 11th year doing it, and I'm working more hours now with the radio than I did my full time jobs. But it's one catch to it. I love what I'm doing. I love reaching out like to you, Lee, and to everybody else to get their story across here. That's fulfilling to me to open up the door to somebody else. I'm just I always tell everybody this is not my station. This is a community station. I'm just sitting in the seat right here that God put me in.
I love it.
That's
I
all.
love it. I
So
love it. Yeah, but listen, when you're doing your purpose, when you're walking in purpose, he provides.
okay. And now since you brought that up, I got a question for you right now. What's been the biggest win so far in your business or personal brand?
The biggest win, I think, for us is we have started a ZTP campaign, Zero Tolerance Project, and it's a domestic violence project, strategically focused on the NFL, putting in some policies regarding their players and coaches and domestic violence. It's something that I have a personal story with that I've had to overcome, and so having to walk in those shoes, I understand. The business a little bit better and what it looks like for a woman who has been in a relationship with a professional athlete, and has had those challenges, what that restart looks like. And so we've spent the past couple years just doing the research, tracking the stories. The data is alarming. The amount of players that not only commit these offenses but go unpunished from a law perspective. You're talking about players with multi-million dollar contracts getting $1,500 bonds. If you got a DUI, you're going to get more bond than $1,500. And
Mm-hmm.
so our focus has been really opening the door for an NFL team to just put the policy in place. And probably the most exciting thing is we most recently partnered with Champion to put together some gear, some sweatshirts, and just a clothing line to support all of the ZTP campaign. 100% of those proceeds go to benefit domestic violence and sexual assault shelters and nonprofits. And so that is very exciting for us to have fostered that relationship with Champion, and to be able to just continue the work. Again, changing the business, changing the game,
Yeah.
and making it better and safer for everyone. There's a lot of women in sports, period. There's a lot of women who have experienced domestic violence and have had to walk in those shoes. And really, from a sports perspective, the NFL has really failed to take accountability for its players. And it's not a new problem. It's a problem that stems
Yes.
back to OJ Simpson and before. And so it's time. And so Lee Johnson is really proud of our efforts and our initiatives to really change that part of the business and the game.
You know, I had a young lady on earlier today, Dr. Anderson. She went through the same thing, domestic violence, and she's got things started right now with her nonprofit addressing the same thing you're talking about. And I'm a firm believer that you don't put your hands on anybody. That's just
Mm.
point blank as it is. I was brought up. Oh boy, was I brought up? You don't put a hand on a woman because there were more girls in our family than was boys. We got beat up, but we
Mm.
couldn't hit them back.
Mm.
you know, but I understood um, what they were telling me about that because if you got to get to that point that you have to hit somebody, then the problem is you. You need to walk away from there and come back in. In social skills, I say this all the time. I learned one thing in social skill class that was said: never react on your emotions. You're supposed to sit back and then think about it and then respond. Because when you're reacting off emotions, you can't take it back. Well, you already did it. You can't say I'm sorry. There's not that many sorries in the world that's gonna fix that. So definitely, whew, you hit a nerve right there because I don't like seeing that at all. That
Yeah.
if you want to get me upset, matter of fact, I was somewhere and this guy going to hit this guy. I said, "Hey, yo, dude, what you doing? Mind your business." I said, "This is my business.
Mm.
This is my business." And stuff. So should I have done it the way people are nowadays? Probably I shouldn't have, because no telling what's gonna happen to me. But I
Sure.
did it anyway.
Yeah.
You know.
It's definitely a subject that we need to talk more openly about. It's not related to any particular income bracket, any particular neighborhood, it's not connected to anything
Hmm.
outside of that particular offender and the victim. And so we need to be open more about, everyone loves sports, everyone loves the game, but let's talk about the responsibility that comes with
Yes.
being one of those 1700 players, right? There's a responsibility piece that needs to come into play, and the NFL has to do better with making sure that they take ownership of their players and get the message right. You're talking about, I can go all day. Well, you're talking about Deshaun Jackson. You got 20 plus women saying that you sexually assaulted them and you just got a $250 million contract. That
Mm.
messaging is wrong. That
Yes.
messaging is off. And so the NFL has to do better with aligning their messaging and how they're handling their employees. And another thing people forget is the NFL is a nonprofit. The NFL is a nonprofit, is a 501c. And
Mm.
so when you're paying people at a certain level and you are a 501c, there has to be accountability. There
Yes.
has to be accountability because there's a lot of things happening that are just unaccounted for when you're talking about protecting women and children, not just women, but women and children. You're talking about big players, strong players, trained players. There's just a lot of factors involved, and so what we're really just trying to do is bring the conversation to the table, and let's talk about it because it has to be addressed.
Yeah, it does. I agree with you. So, we could talk about that a
Well, I
long
have to come
time.
back. You have to bring me back because I
Yeah,
have to come back with all my
I
statistics.
was gonna say that I gotta get you back here.
I got to come back with all my statistics
Yeah,
and all my
cause
numbers because it's alarming and
yeah,
it's not okay. And so Lee Johnson is definitely doing our part to bring awareness to the issue.
and we definitely gonna bring Lee Johnson back. I guarantee you that. So let me ask you one last question. How do you currently promote yourself, your business, and what works best for you?
It's nonstop. It's nonstop promotion. We promote to players, we promote to agents, we promote to brands and corporations. One thing we do is we also help nonprofits get sponsorships for their events. And so it's nonstop marketing, and just being able to get your name out there is huge. But also a big part of our business is referral. Just like,
Yeah,
someone mentioned, my name to you. A lot of our business comes from referral. We treat all of our clients very well. Everyone gets one-on-one attention, and so a lot of it is just doing what we do best, which is serving athletes, serving
yeah,
brands, and serving them at the highest level possible, and then letting that word and that love spread, and hopefully, we boom and boom, and in 5 years, we'll have all of the sports under our wing, and we'll be rocking and rolling.
that's good. You mentioned nonprofit. I got one I'm starting right now, but I tell you what, trying to find grants and everything, people writing. I said, why did I start this? It's going to be a lot of. See, what I started a nonprofit where I'm gonna help the elderly out, where I'm gonna be going to them, playing some music for them, maybe do karaoke, they can sing. I got the youth coming involved to talk to them because that's knowledge and power right there, talking to that. Because I always preach to everybody, don't let your grandmother and grandfather become an ancestor before you talk to them. Talk to
Hmm.
them now because they got so much
Listen,
wisdom in them. So I'm trying to bridge these two together, the youth and the elderly together, so they could talk to you. Because 9 times out of 10, that's person in a nursing home, that's it. They have no other family. They're all by themselves. All they want is somebody to talk to sit back. You know how much knowledge and power you get off talking to somebody like that? The stuff they went through, they tell you they went through it. And so that is what my
love it.
nonprofit is doing. And I'm trying to figure out, did I bite off as much as I could chew? I said,
Don't
nope.
quit.
It's just gonna take time for me to get things together. So if I find me a good grant writer, don't charge me anything, I'll be on cloud nine.
Listen, if you find you a good grant writer, hold on to it because they're hard to find.
Yeah, I know. They're very hard
They're
to
they're
find.
hard to find. Listen, what you're saying is absolutely true. I can't wait to see that come to pass because that is needed.
Yeah.
I had my parents and my ancestors, my parents were older, and the knowledge that I wish I could ask them now, the
Hmm.
questions that I wish I could ask them now, I think that is a great thing to do because there's so much knowledge that can be
Yes.
passed on, and God knows this generation needs it more than ever.
You see, and you know you're right about that because I had my birthday last month, and believe it or not,
When's your birthday?
January 21st.
Okay.
Oh,
Happy belated birthday.
okay,
I'm before you though, but
okay.
okay.
And I turned a good old age of 70.
No, you didn't.
Yes.
Let's go. You about 54.
No, thank you. And I'm surprised how many people call, sit down, and talk to me, ask me about this, and I tell them, and they say, "You know what, Mr. Gordon?" I said, "You don't have to call me Mr. Gordon." They say, "Yes, we do, out of respect."
Mhm.
I said, "Okay,
Yes,
I
yeah.
appreciate that." And I tell them what I did back in the days, and I learned from experience doing things. And I am surprised on some of the youth and how they come to me and want to sit down and talk to me. So, what happened back in your days? What did you do? I said, "You know what? It's no more different than what it is today. The way it is different today, y'all have more technology. Things are faster. Back then, actually had to sit down and write things by hand. We had to sit down there and solve problems. You go to the internet, your problem is solved, but you didn't take no time to figure out how did you solve it. And that's a part of I worked in the industry where I could work on any washer and dryer out there.
Hmm.
People think you could just put a part in and that's gonna fix it. Nobody troubleshoots anymore. I would sit down there and troubleshoot. Matter of fact, the last job I had, I went there. They had 4 brand new washers that never worked. 2 years sitting there, never worked. So I got into it. The guy said, "You ain't gonna fix that. We tried everything." I said, "Okay." So I went in there. I checked everything. Okay. I ordered a part, put them in. I said the washers are fixed. What was it? It was $1.50 fuse holder. $1.50. I had to
Troubleshooting.
buy 4 of them. It cost $3 to fix those $3,000 washers, commercial
Ooh, and
washers.
they've been sitting here for two
2
years.
years, and they said, "Wait a minute." I said, "It's called troubleshooting. Some of y'all youngsters don't know how to do." And so,
Ooh, it's
and
tough.
I'm honoring they come talking to me, and I tell them, matter of fact, I still get phone calls from my previous job. "Ron, we got a problem right here. What do you think it'll be? It's this right here. You called and asked me, I'm letting you know what it is." They go back, come back, you were right. It was the pump.
See, this when you're the go. When you've been in the game, when you've been on the planet that long, you just know things. There's
Yeah.
just certain things you just know that you got to pass that down.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, a friend of mine gave me a nickname because I went over to his house and his air conditioning wasn't working. So I got my long screwdriver. I hit the fan. The fan took off, started working. He looked at me and said, "Wait a minute. I just watched you fix the air conditioner with a screwdriver." I said, "Yeah. Your fan motor about going out. You get a fan motor." So he turned around and said, "I watched this guy fix a air conditioner with a screwdriver. He is now known as the Black MacGyver."
I love it. I love
But
it. I
it's
love it.
just like in your field, you could probably come up with some stuff that people will look at you because you done it. Experience is you can't put a price on experience, but they pay you for this. That's why you get paid because you know what you're doing.
Experience. Yeah, and that's why, just to circle back, that's why young athletes shouldn't be paid because they don't have any experience. Closed.
And
That's really what it is.
not only in that, but the experience on how to spend that money. First thing they want to do, go out and buy a bunch of cars for their friends. And leave your friends alone. This is about you. You wait till you get yourself established before you do something like that.
A lot of work to be done out here. A lot
It,
of
it
work to be
is.
done
It
out
is.
here.
Wow. This has been good. I'm gonna once I get this edited, I'm gonna send it to you, and that way you can share with everybody. And I'm gonna send you my phone number because I definitely want to stay in contact with you.
Yeah, and when we get our track and field department, your son can be our scout. He can send us the talent.
Uh oh. Uh
Oh, you're
oh. Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, my grandson gonna say. He know what they always tell me, "Dad, why you tell us you had these connections?" See,
Yeah, that's
I never brag about anything. I know people from all over the place, and it's let me make a phone call. Okay, you're all set up. This. Wait a minute, who'd you just call? I said, Nunion. None of your
listen,
business.
if it wasn't about connections, it wouldn't be 8 million, 8 billion of us on the planet. We need each other.
Yeah,
We need connections. We
yeah. Cause
need
I'm
connections.
pretty
So
sure I may ask you for something. You say, "Oh, Aaron, I
yeah,
got you. Don't worry."
listen, we'll help out any way we can.
Yeah.
We got our people, we got our network, and we look out for each other. How
Oh,
it is exactly how we got this to this conversation. Our network. Send it to you.
exactly. Q something.
Shout out to Q.
Yeah,
Shout
Q.
out to Mr.
Yeah, shout
Workman.
because he's something else. To this day, I don't know how he found me. I really don't know how he found me to this
He's
day.
everywhere though. Like he's in Japan tomorrow. He's in Greece the next day. Like he be moving around. So he know people and he do
Oh,
things.
he
So that's my
does.
guy though.
He does.
That's my guy.
Matter of
I
fact, I
appreciate
think
him.
he's going to be on the show tomorrow at 2 o'clock. I
Okay.
think it's going to be on tomorrow because I know I got his wide receivers are going to be on, and
Okay.
I think Jack Leach is going to be on too, along with Q.
Okay.
So that's what they said, but I'll find out tomorrow.
Okay. All right. Well,
So
listen, I'm around. I'll be available to tune in, and
okay.
please don't let this be the last time we meet.
Oh, it won't. It won't. I think
All
we
right.
got chemistry already. Just in there, just
You
talking
better
to each
know it.
other.
Let's go. We got work to do.
Yes. All right. You take
All
care.
righty.
All right.
Thank you. Have a good
All right.
day.
You too.
Bye.
Okay. Bye.
Recording stop.
All right, everybody. That was Coach Lee here on WSAN Radio. Man, we appreciate her being on today. Man, it was something else. We loved every last bit of it. All right, it is coming up at the top of the hour here on WSAN Radio. Man, tomorrow is Friday, TGIF. We'll catch everybody bright and early tomorrow morning, and we'll fix this Facebook. I have no idea. It worked this morning, but it happens. What can you say? Facebook said, we don't like you anymore, which they do that on a timely basis. They give me a hard time. But anyway, Sheila E., no time for you today. This is DJ Ron G. Peace and chicken grease. I am officially out for today. Have fun.
In the radio, San Antonio. WSAN Radio, San Antonio.
Girl, just look at